me say a pleasant good Monday morning to one and all. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. To the Bean Monday. It's the 6th day of March, 2023. Good morning to one and all. Let me say good morning to our television audience this morning. Those of you via GBN Channel 7 or you're viewing via Channels 11 or Channels 20. Good morning and welcome to The Point for today. I'm your host, GT, with you. Going to be around with you for the next hour. And also, let me say hi to our social media platforms this morning. Those of you via our Facebook page or YouTube channel, welcome. And thanks for being with us this morning. This morning, I do have a guest in studio with me this morning. Let me take a test of that. Let me see if I can get it right this morning. I have Mr. Kwabena. Amen with us this morning. I got the name right?
That's right.
I'm accused of butchering names sometimes, so somebody might try to get it right.
Okay,
right.
It's okay.
How are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing very badly. I'm hurting. I'm in a place of extreme misery in terms of my national situation. And hopefully by coming on this program, I would feel better when I leave.
Before we get too deep in the conversation, tell me something about yourself, the organization that you belong to, and let's get an insight in terms of how the conversation goes forward.
Okay, I'm a very pretty boring individual. I'm born in Montmoritz and went to school in GBSS and Times CC, IFE, and UE, and been an educator for over 37 years.
Right.
That's the boring part. And basically, I just enjoy a good Grenadian oil down, no veggie. You know.
So just into that nutshell.
Basically, that's it. I've been like provoked from my quiet, comfort zone by the affairs, economic development. And I'm coming forward to say, there's a better way to live than cutting off our heads. It's that bad. It's that bad. So I'm pretty much focused on saving Levera at the moment.
Well, that's going to be the genesis of our conversation today. The Levera part. Folks may have seen you a week or two ago when you were at that development up there where you were protesting. And, and folks may have understand. This morning now, you being here is a way of expressing the reasons why. Folks may not have just saw you protesting and the placards or whatever it is. But not understand the real serious reason or reasonings behind you doing this. Yeah. And you were not doing it for the doing its sake. Yeah. You understand?
Yeah. And there was no organization, as you mentioned, organization. There's no organization. There is just I think other people as well just feel the pain and reacting. I think not knowing what to do when you're faced with a situation of such tremendous opposition, proportion, destruction. Most people go helpless. Like when Ivan hit, most people were very helpless the day after, and waking up and getting up from the shock of the experience was slow. So I think what happened is that when I went up there, I didn't expect anyone to be there.
So you were practically looking at this as a one-man show on that day?
Waking up people is usually one man with a bucket of water or a shell or a bell. and about 20 people showed up. And since then, there's been an awakening, there's been youth spread awareness, and the momentum is picking up. Before that, there was not much information of what was happening at Levera. In fact, on that day, Sunday, the 26th of February, the opening ceremony was relatively secret. And it's only through a leaked document that I got wind of that open, groundbreaking destruction beginning ceremony. So that is what sparked, me coming out.
All right, let's go forward, or go back, I should say, before we come forward. This has been maybe the third or fourth, developer that's
fifth.
Yes. Fifth. Well, I believe it's a fifth. That's partaking in the so-called development of the Levera. We seem to hopefully this one will be the one that will go forward with the whole initiative. Give me a bit of insight into the Levera development.
Okay.
Why is it such a concern for you as an individual, being a Grenadian, and the concern of it? Give us a little bit of insight to that.
Yeah. Well, the background must focus and begin with Levera itself and the concept of Grenada, the generational force that's in Grenada. Now, you may know or may not know that the Leptotilia welsey, the Grenada dove, is the only bird like this on the planet. Were you aware?
I'm aware of that.
I think some students have been aware now, but most people are unaware that the Grenada dove is the only dove like it on the planet.
I have heard the conversation about that
Right.
before. I have heard.
The habitat and the way this bird was generated from the womb of the earth was in places like Mount Hartman, like Lasages, like Levera. These are special geological features which include headlands or a high mountain range, relatively high, low flatlands with a river in between, with fresh water and saltwater ponds, with the sea close by, with mangrove swamps, woodlands close by. This combination, this unique, pristine combination of forces manifested the Grenada dove, and it lived in the habitat. Along with it are rare species of turtles, crabs, lobsters, fish, etc., etc. But the Grenada dove was the only one of its kind manifested in these creative power regions in Grenada. Mount Hartman was the major area, and it is destroyed. It means that the habitat, the home of the Grenada dove. The Lasages, if you have a look at Lasages, ask yourself where would the turtle live. This has been destroyed. These two great generative forces of the Grenada dove. The last one left is Levera, at the head of Grenada. Now, if you look at the map of Levera, you will see Levera is slightly northeast of Grenada at its head. And the tides, the currents flowing from the northeast coming down, split into two at Levera. Some goes to the west coast and some goes to the east coast. And this currents flavor and bring nutrients to the whole of Grenada along the coast. Now, to destroy Levera, and it's not about developing Levera, it's not about developing Lasages and Mount Hartman. We're talking about destruction of prime creative forces, which most people, especially the leaders who are doing this, are unaware of. We are destroying this, what made us and manifested life on the planet, for a piece of printed paper that we have printed and we have used to create a system of control of human activity. And we need the system of human activity. But when it comes to a choice between what human has created and what created humans, Grenada have a choice now. Do we destroy Levera as the last creative force remaining after we've destroyed Mount Hartman and Lasages? Or do we honor Levera, the place that is responsible for our life? This is an existential problem, not only for Grenada and the Caribbean, but for the globe and the planet. And we could go into a lot of information about the wetlands. It was a protected site by the wise leaders before us, designated the place bird sanctuary. Both, all three of them, Levera, Mount Hartman, Lasages, were designated wildlife sanctuary, and in case of Levera, a national park. And this is being disrespected and disregarded. And if we lose Levera, if we poison the head of our landmass, if, as you may know, when Kikemgenie is extra active, the Levera pond changes color, and the boiling springs in River Sally also spews up a different color and different matter. The connection, the underground canals connect on the Grenada, the water systems connecting, which we know little of, would be poisoned and polluted by, you're talking about 500-room hotel. You're talking about bleach, soap water to service laundry for 500 families. You're talking about sewage coming out, runoff from vehicles and the industrial machinery that will be there. You're talking about a 20-story buildings dominating the landscape with an 18-hole golf course which rip out all the trees, bulldoze the rocks. You know, the Levera rocks on the ground have special conical shape and patterns, like they are bubbling in lava and they are frozen. You're talking about putting a jetty where the turtles come to nest, the rare endangered leatherback and hornbill turtles come to nest. A jetty is going to go there.
Let me button on you here for a wee bit. I'm sensing the passion that you have for this particular development.
Oh, that's my life.
You
Our
the
life.
passion that you have in terms of the concern, the loss that's going to be that's going to come about because of this particular development. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now, being the what it is already, what has started.
There started the destruction. Yes,
has taken place. What do you feel about the loss that's going to be incurred?
The loss is too great a price, you know, and the Prime Minister says development come at a cost. Yes, you can prune your fingernails, but if you're going to cut off your hand, you might live. Both hands and feet, you might live. But if you're going to prune and cut off your head, you're not going to live. Levera is our head. I don't think they understand the importance of this.
All right. Tell me something. how do you feel about government's approach to this?
It's-
This particular development. I mean, this particular government may have inherited this particular development from previous administration. How do you feel about government's approach in terms of this particular development, knowing the habitat that is up there in terms of the ecosystem and everything?
The government approach is incorrect, and all government so far has been incorrect. Since revolution, since before emancipation, Grenada's power is its green gold economy. The reason why the Kalinago, Carib, and Awaks were killed was because of the green gold power of Grenada. The reason why slaves 1,000 miles away, 400 years, was imported and enslaved from Africa was because of the green gold. Grenada has wonderful industries in wood and timber and construction materials. Grenada has some of the best foods and drink on the planet. Grenada has every second bush is a pharmaceutical. Every third bush is a cosmetic bush, soap, shampoo, lotion. We have a green gold industry with our green economy that can give sustainable lifestyles to everybody. In addition to this, as an economic driver, we have Ivanized and abandoned buildings, from great houses to mills all over the island, which can be acquired under a trust fund, developed as a community ecotourism model, employment in communities, and the people will continue after construction to service these eco-community center sites and rebuild on what has already been built on. And we have magnificent interest sites and in great locations all over the island that we can build eco-community tourism. This model is not being followed. The model that's being followed by both governments concerning Levera is people come here and see the power of Grenada. They come first and they went to Mount Hatman, then they got to Las Ages, now they're taking the last one, Levera. They're taking our power from us, destroying our power, putting their version of their playground, the decadent playground, and offering us pieces of paper for this. Now, our governments are either completely ignorant of what they are doing, destroying the power of Grenada for pieces of paper, or they are in economic traps, which they are offered. This is the only way out for your economy, tourism, and this kind of destructive tourism, and this CBI initiative, and this passport selling, as a way of tourism of our country. That's what's offered to our ministers. And if they have not understood how Levera was created, how Levera created them, how they beat in their hearts, if they don't understand the connection to infinity, then, and they only listen to what they studied in university and school and on the machine, then they would seem to have no way out as an economic.
Let me a key word that you've been using there, and it continues to tickle my mind every time you say development.
Destruction. We're not developing Levera. We are destroying Levera. We have not developed Las Ages. We have destroyed the creative force of Las Ages. We must ask ourselves, did Grenada create our bodies, or did our bodies create Grenada? We must ask ourselves, under the slave master ownership, the illegal possession of land, do you dig up a man's chest to bury the earth in him, or do you dig up the earth to bury a man in the earth? Which own which? Do we own land, or do land own us and our bodies? That is a fundamental question. And we all go about say we own land. Yes, we're entitled to be respected, to use a space on the earth like every other creature, freely. But you are born into this slave system. And by the way, before Columbus and them came here, both in Africa and in Grenada, we were entitled to a piece of space just because we were born human. And we owned it communally. We worked communally. And we used something called love for our necessity, our daily bread, our housing, our medical care, our education, our employment, and our role in society was organized based on something called love. And because we had so much spare time, we used to make luxury artworks and fancy objects, and then you would use shells as money to value it. So money was for luxuries as a game because we had so much free time, both in Africa and in the Caribbean. When the Europeans come here, they take money off the luxuries and put it onto necessities. So though we pray, give us this day our daily bread, we have to buy and sell it. And to buy and sell Levera, to destroy Levera in that process of using money over man, that is a mistake that not only Grenada, but like the human family are faced with that choice right now. Are we going to choose what we make, or are we going to choose what made us?
Mr. Evan, I'm certainly feeling the passion that you feel. Certainly feel. But we drew for a break. When we come back,
Thank you.
For our listening and viewing audience, when we come back, we do have a video presentation that we would like to feature.
Okay.
When we do come back, and so Master Control, you're going to have that. We come back directly after the break, and we will certainly entertain that. And we come back and discuss some more about the presentation when we return.
Yes.
We support.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and the regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, when you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
Last week on Our Climate Reality.
For the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, all countries are reporting on their greenhouse gas emissions. The agriculture sector is a big sector in many of the countries, and many of the reports from most of the countries. So in some ways, they're able to capture some of the information.
Impacts that are common, incipient, and that have devastating effect on your agriculture if you're not prepared. If you're not prepared in terms of the mechanisms that you use in your production processes. So you're talking about the extreme weather events.
Most soil conservation methods, given the fact that you see all these flash floods and things in the current situation with climate change, you need to have, for example, terracing, strip cropping. With the terracing, especially, topography is basically undulating in Grenada. So you want to prepare soil in a way to protect them from excess rain, so that when the rain falls, the terracing is like step-like. They wouldn't just come down with a gush. So in so doing, you protect yourself.
Join us this Wednesday on GBN TV, K105 FM, and GBN's Facebook page.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. It's to the point for today, Monday, the 6th day of March. And this morning I have with me Mr. Kwabena, Amen, with us this morning. And he's one of the citizens of this beautiful isle of ours that is so concerned about the Levera project. And we certainly discussed that. Before the break, I didn't mention that we were going to take a preview of a video that talks about the development. So when that's Master Control, you could certainly put that video up. We're going to take a peek at it while it shows, and then we come back and have a discussion about it. Master Control, it's over to you with the video.
Grenada, the last pearl on the Caribbean island chain, is one of the last few territories in the Caribbean Sea that provide genuine Caribbean experiences. The beautiful island sits within the Golden Vacation Belt, together with other famed vacation destinations, including the Maldives, Mauritius, Cancun, and many other places with fascinating tropical sceneries, with 11 air routes connecting itself with 9 countries and regions around the world. The main attraction points of the tourism business in the Caribbean region have always been about the soothing vibe, natural experiences, hiking and adventures, water sports and honeymoons, which have attracted 44.6 million people from around the world, mostly the Americas, in the year 2018 alone, and more to come in the future. Other features where Grenada shines include the leatherback turtles, the rich hot spring resources due to volcanic activities, the well-preserved ancient culture of Maya, and last but not least, the Grenada Carnival, taking place yearly in early August. In recent years, with the desire to expand the market share of the tourism business in the Americas and a growing reputation in the remote Asia due to an increasingly intimate relationship between the country and China, Grenada is looking forward to an ever brighter future in the overall development of the country and an even higher status on the global stage. The symbol and benchmark of this forthcoming shift is the Grenada National Resort Project. With an insight and understanding of the global tourism market, the hotel project is proposed as a response to the rich resources of Grenada yet to explore, a representation of potential multivariant vacation experiences that Grenada is able to provide. We envision that with a comprehensive planning and exploration, Grenada's multivariant resources and diverse culture will be better presented and shown off to the world. That with the combination of a tropical natural environment and a systematically sustainable design method, Grenada presents itself as a travel destination, providing the customers with the most natural and authentic tropical adventurous experience with world-class modern facilities and services. That with the Grenada National Resort Project completed, Grenada is capable of integrating itself into the world economy to a far greater extent. The site of the project is located by the shore of the northeast part of Grenada in St. Patrick's District, with Sugarloaf Island to the northeast at around 1,087 feet. It occupies a land of 463 acres, within which are the tallest mountain in the region, Mount Levera, sitting in the southwest, and the Levera Lake in the east. The site contains a wide range of scenic resources, from a 275-degree panoramic view of the entire site and beyond at the top of Mount Levera, to Lake Levera surrounded by mangroves, and to the beautiful beaches with serendipitous encountering with leatherback turtles. All of these resources present themselves at such different levels and locations that they may make it possible for the project to make use of them through multiple layers of extraction and organization. The site is generally cut into two parts by the existing main road from the north of the site to the south, with the main entrance located at the south intersection between the site boundary and the main road. The site is divided into 5 zones according to the designated programs: the hotel resort, the fisherman's wharf, the national park, the golf course, and the Mountain Levera recreation. Given the general condition of terrains in the region, the main entrance to the hotel resort zone sits in the middle of the main road to provide steady and gradual access to the core hotel area through the frontal section. The long and narrow land on the west side of the frontal section is reserved for ancillary facilities and structures due to drastic changes of terrains, with the top being the VIP entry access. In the northeast part is a portion of land with 180 degrees panoramic view toward the sea, and by the shore is the beach recreation area. The core hotel complex sits in the middle of the zone with less than 1,000 feet.
Welcome back. Mr. Amen, once again, welcome back to the point. And we were just featuring that particular video there that I was talking about the development or what the developer plans to do with the particular area that they want to develop, that hotel project and so forth. Something that caught my mind in terms of what he's showing, that what they're saying is that holding on to the rich resource. I hope you grab that in terms of what the individual who was narrating mentioned, holding on to the rich resource of the area. Do you believe that?
I have one. The opening sentence, the last pearl, one of the last pearls in the Caribbean. So they're about to destroy the last pearl. You cannot hold on to the resources. The only way you can hold on to the resources right now, as he's rightfully saying, the turtles and the mangrove, is to leave it alone. Now, we have a couple little eco-friendly accommodation there, a little bar and restaurant. There's a little toilet and a little shower room and a boardwalk, and there's stores. Fine. Leave Levera as it is. This is the pristine beauty that he's talking about, that they want to destroy, put in their own version for us to enjoy it. Now, how can what they're going to put in there manifest the Leptotilia welsii? How would the presence of a jetty and all that water sports they plan there affect the turtles coming and lay? When you bulldoze the pond, how about the fishes know where to live and where to go? When you're going to make the pond, they're going to bulldoze the pond, rip out the mangrove, and put in their own version. Look what they've done to La Sagesse, for example. And if you go online and type in La Sagesse destruction Grenada, you're going to see how they have ripped up the pond and put in their own version with little islands. Now, I don't know which decadent rich playground they're making. I don't know how this beautiful place being destroyed with these monsters. I mean, look at the horrific, monstrous building. All I see is pain and misery at the destruction of our beauty. The best way to enjoy your beauty is to leave it alone. I mean, destroying Levera according to 5 zones.
No, tell me, if development has to occur, I don't think totally you're against development.
I'm not, and in fact, we want development. We don't want destruction. This is destruction in the name of development.
I know you know that.
Yeah.
If there was something that's happening in the Levera, what would you entertain having?
Bring your families, organize your picnic. I know a lot of boyfriend and girlfriend that's go up there. Organize your schools, principals, bring your class teachers, bring your classes out.
So you prefer something of a national park?
Yeah, just to leave it alone and just go there and just sit in silence and imbibe the creative force that brought you on the earth. Connect to infinity, connect to Mother Earth. Connect to the power that has us here, the air we breathe, the water we drink, the fire in our bodies. Connect to life. I mean, you know, GT. I don't know if you know we have an issue with young people. There's a massive, not only in Grenada, globally, there's a massive increase in young people's suicides.
Yes.
One of the reasons for this, and the main reason for this, is that young people are spending 12, 14, 16 hours a day in cyberspace on the machines. And with all its wonderful technology, cyberspace is simply something that man has projected from his own mind. Accessing, of course, the creative force of the universe through his body, man is creating his own version of life through the phone. And because he doesn't have the answer to the most fundamental question, he is offering young people avenues for exploration without no real answer and real connection to who they truly are. And therefore, our young people are getting lost in the psychological experience, and the only way out is to leave their body by shutting it down early. Mm-hmm. That's what is happening. And the reason is because our young people no longer go out to places like Levera, La Sagesse, Manhattan with their families and spend the whole day. I remember as a young man, and I give credit to my mother and father, honor to them, and mother and father Grenada too. They used to bring us on picnics. They used to have communities going out in trucks and buses on holidays and spending the whole day. Or some people used to camp on the beach. When you go home, your face and your next week, your shoulder and your face peeling.
You're sunburned.
You've been in the sun, you've been in the sea, you've been in the sun, you eat, you sleep, you wake up, you play games. And you were automatically imbibing this creative power that have us as happy Grenadians. They want to know why Grenadians, despite our conditions, we're happy and we're so loving and warm, because the Grenada dove, which is manifested here, was manifested out of those forces. When you destroy the forces that have us happy and warm and loving, our society on a social level, my brother, one of the consequences on a social level, the violence will increase, the frustration will increase, and those of who think that we're going to get jobs, we see from our recent experience in hotels being brought in that the supervisory, executive, and managerial positions are going to be imported. Grenadians will have the job in maids, in cleaning, nothing wrong with that. Security, nothing wrong with owning. But look at the conditions of somebody working as a waitress or a maid. They leave their family homes and leave their children at 4 in the morning and return at midday, or sometimes if they do the evening shift, they return after midnight. Who is taking care of the family? Security people work 12-hour shift. Let's say they start at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. shift. They leave home since 6. Who is to bring the children to school? Who is to cut the grass? They come back 7, they come back 8 p.m. 6 days a week. When is their time to cut the grass, to say hi to the neighbor? They come home tired, the 1 day rest they have. These conditions are what is being posed, and you know the attitudes of the people who come in here and say they are contractors. They don't have no long-term benefits for our workers. They treat them like dogs, and as they protest, it's easy to dismiss. And the high turnover rate of these employments show that this is the kind of employment that's promised to us. This is not the kind of employment we need. I suggest that the green gold economy and community or ecotourism is a much better model. And if we go to, like, say, look in the middle of St. George's, York House, can we have the investors deal with York House? Go in Four Road, see how much there are abandoned buildings in Four Road, in the heart of St. George's, Melville Street. Oh God, go in Guave. You go see the amount of, you see what I mean? We have so much alternative economic plans.
Let me ask you this for one if an opportunity arises where you can get, to sit down with the developer.
Yes.
What are some of the conversations you were really, really interested in getting?
Okay, I think there's a $2.3 billion. I know it's only project, and don't let's be impressed by $2.3 billion US. $2.3 billion US cannot give life to one ant on the welcome stone. Okay, so let us put money in context. Money cannot give you life, and if you think that $2.3 billion is a lot of money, I will give you $2.3 million US and ask you for your breath. Give me your breath, your daily breath. So you see, let's put money in context. I would sit down with developers and say, listen, first thing, Levera is out of the question. Absolutely leave Levera alone. Let us look at the cities. Let us look at there's the sugar mill sites, water mill, windmill, the windmill towers. Let's look at these sites. Let's look at the abandoned houses due to family tie-up thing. You have nice houses located which are just rotting down with vines. Let's look at those. Ivanized houses, right? And let's acquire them under a special act, develop them up, put some funds back to the fund that invest in it, and give some the owners. So the owners cannot object. Their abandoned, rotten down building is getting a little. They're getting some funds, yeah. And when they're ready, when it's paid off, they can have it back if they want to continue. No problem. Mm-hmm. So you're not taking people property. You're just acquiring it for the purpose of developing and resuscitating these buildings and these previous building sites. There is, lovely, exotic, adventurous mill sites. The windmill. Could you imagine seeing a windmill operational again in Grenada? And that is clean energy. Mm-hmm. These are the investment projects that we can get involved with, right? Shall I go further?
We do have some folks who have been calling for a wee bit. Let's see if we can entertain a few phone calls. They may have some insight that they may like to share. Maybe something that you have never thought about. Yeah. Let's entertain some of the calls. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hi. Am I to the point?
Yes, you are live on To The Point. Go ahead with your contribution.
I would like to make a few points because I was born in Rivers Valley, and Levera has been my place where I've been with my grandfather before I immigrated to London. I'm back in Grenada, and I'm really, really concerned about this project. And I have some points to make, some positive points.
Go right ahead, please. And would you mind lowering the radio or whatever device you have in the background? I'm assuming it's causing a little bit of distraction.
Is this any better?
Go right ahead.
Right. Point one. I'm a poet, a historian. I've been educated in England. I've been to England since I was a child, but my focus has always been Grenada. I was involved in all of the destruction of Grenada. I protested. I write protest poems and things like that. I have a master's degree, commendation in poetry, and all my work is about Grenada geographic terrain. Our island is so amazing. I recall when I was a child, my grandfathers used to take me to walk to Levera. I was a girl guide before I went to England, the first set, and we used to camp in Levera. I have been to Levera, took a lot of people up there to the Welcome Stone since I've been back here, and I'm so sad about that project. You know why? Point one, being educated in Europe, I've seen the relationship between Chinese and African diaspora people. I've studied Chinese politics, and I know the Chinese have no interest in Grenada but expanding their territory, but 21st century economic slavery, but disrespect for our island. We cannot ever go to Europe or China with such a project. The nationals in their country would just crucify us. Governments wouldn't allow it. Why are we allowing these people to look at us and think we are so backward, we are so stupid, they can destroy our life force? They're actually destroying our life force. But our ministers, our agricultural people, we are not that forward-thinking or educated on the level of the Chinese in terms of agriculture. We're talking about climate change. You know what is climate change? Destruction of a planet. I've discovered an amazing book here called A Natural History of Grenada by Dr. Groom, and I began to do the research, and I've seen, I wish every MP, every teacher, every professor in Grenada, every historian in Grenada would read that book and see why we should leave Levera alone. I don't really think we understand what's happening here. It's not about a few dollars. When we destroyed our Levera, like they did with us during the slave trade, like they did with us during the French demise of the native people, what do we have? Would we become slaves again, economic slaves in our country? I think we should stop this project for so many reasons. What Kwabena is saying is so right. We should have him educating the whole of the region. We should have this program broadcast in different parts of the world so that people could see what they're doing to Grenada in terms of tourism. Our country would be so destroyed. And this is what I'm saying. I'm very sad. Really, really sad. I'm here in Grenada, and those of us in Europe, we realize the gem we have. These people realize the gem that we have. Why don't they do other development? Hospitals, schools, training, housing, finance all this project and develop our natural terrain, landscaping. Why destroy an amazing place that turtles, doves, humans? Why? Could we afford to go to those hotels? Could the people from River Sally afford that?
Caller, we understand your passion, but please take another 30 seconds and wrap
Okay,
it.
thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's passionate from the caller. I can feel her passion. I mean, if I get allowed her, she would probably be talking all morning in terms of how she feels.
Yes.
What have you digested from the callers?
Absolutely right. And different people and different specialists can speak to different aspects of the destruction of Levera, the consequences of it. We have the environmental point of view, and we have some scientists that can speak to that. We have the economic point of view, that we're not actually creating employment and jobs and economy at all. We have the wildlife and the unique wildlife, right? The turtle can't speak, the crabs and the lobsters can't speak, and the fish can't speak. The stones can't speak. The trees can't say, leave us alone. We need to live too, right? So we have all these aspects. We have people who can speak to the botanical, to the zoological. People can speak to the heritage, the cultural heritage, the natural heritage. And of course, the creative force and power. And anybody who sits on that welcome stone for more than 5 minutes would imbibe. And as you go to the welcome stone, you feel that power coming all the way from the ocean, through Sugarloaf, onto you. And awe and reverence for the power of life without having words. And a lot of people who feel this passion may not be educated or have words or have whatever the means to talk about and express themselves about it on a show like this. But if you speak with them in the communities, they will tell you about the connection, and you will feel the connection to Levera and places like that.
Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Hello, yes, good morning. We're talking about the systematic destruction of Grenada. This has been going on for a long time. Now, I live in Grenville. We had a beautiful beach in the middle of the town, Telescope. Years ago, they said they were blasting the reef to build a jetty. They destroyed Telescope Beach, and it's right in the heart of Grenville. We used to run down the road and go to Telescope Beach. We had a windmill in Grenville Town that was used to regulate the flow of the water right on the street by where Kumar building is, in the back of Kumar big shop where he owned half of the town. There was a windmill there, and they said a white man bought it from Prime Minister Gary. I don't know, I was just a child, but I remember the windmill. We used to go and catch a little crab, and so in the evening I put in bottle and go home. The destruction of Grenada has been systematic over the past 100 years, I would say. And it was all put under the heading of development. Retroactive development, that's what it is. So they need to look into all these things. I don't know what they could do to redeem Telescope Beach. Nobody goes there anymore. And they put some houses on the little hill, So we need to look into Grenada. We have very little left of Grenada. And all I can say is God help Grenada.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Thank you so much.
Yep. Absolutely. And we're asking on Saturday, we're trying to mobilize the nation. We want to say Saturday between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. at Bathway National Park. We're asking all Grenadians who are able, who understand the issue, to show as a matter of a public consultation by 10,000, 50,000 people. Let us sign a petition. Listen to presentations on the importance and the value of Levera. Listen to alternative economic plans. Come with your family with food and drink and enjoy the atmosphere. And let us say no to Levera's destruction. We have looked at the legal aspect of the matter, and the case is being stumbled in court. The court system is who has the most money can really control things. And the three developers has come together, and the little volunteer people, the group of people who volunteer, put $10 here and there to kind of make a court case, and cannot fight these multi-billion-dollar people who have come together. Okay? So it is only by people coming together, waking up once more and coming and civilly, peacefully, in a family atmosphere, saying to our leaders, our economic leaders who I think are trapped, do not destroy Levera. We have economic plans. We are going to stand here until you change your mind. We are going to protect Levera because it's more important than all of us. It is our source.
Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, caller. Go right ahead.
Yeah. These developers use Grenada as a filter. When they establish their companies or their businesses, they bank the money wherever they come from, and they bank the money in the U.S. Don't believe Grenada have to benefit much from these investments. Thank you very much.
Thank you also, caller. Thank you so much.
That is important. The concessions that the hoteliers will get will be for 25, 50 years. There'll be a tax haven. They'll not be paying tax for that long time as well. All the imports, as I say, will be concession, and the money, as you say, is going to be stored, and every 90 cents on every dollar is going to go out. And acquiring passports to go to America, it's a drop-off point. So that will be, what they're building there is a mini city for the rich, Singapore, and we're not against any human being, and Chinese to come here as a drop-off point on the way to America. And this, my brother, we cannot afford to do to Levera and our powers.
Mr. Amen, we drew for a break. Let's take it. And when we do come back, of course, we'll continue with the conversation here, folks. It's To The Point for today. It's Monday, the 6th of March. We're coming right back, folks. Stay with us. So we come back, more of your phone calls, and we continue the conversation. We're coming right back.
Hello, Grenada. It's TGIF time again with the NLA. Thank goodness it's Friday. Every Friday in March, place 5 bets or more in a single ticket purchase on Cash 4, Pick 3 or Play Away. You automatically receive a quick pick inline ticket valued at $1. NLA is giving back more plays, more chances, more opportunities, and more prizes. Remember, when you play, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building. Promotion ends March 31st. You must be 18 years and over to participate.
Wait to see my granddaughter.
You know, one day I woke up and, you know, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. You know, nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers this morning. It's to the point for today, Monday, the 6th day of March. And we have Mr. Kwabena Amen with us this morning. And if you folks may have remembered, a couple of weeks ago, was it just the 26th of February, he was one of the individuals that said he went there all by himself, just in the initial stages of it, to protest against the development that will take place in Levera. And, he was actually surprised to see the other folks who may have had the similar interests as him being there and sharing in the passion of not wanting that sort of development in that area. Now, before we entertain some other phone calls, a question I would like to throw to you. What do you think government could do now in terms of some way to impact a reverse of what the developers want to do? Do you think there's anything that could be done?
Yes.
I mean, your protest is one, and the protest that you have coming up that would be on Saturday. Yes. And do you think anything could be done to reverse this in terms of the level that it has gotten to already?
Yes. The destruction sadly have started. The bulldozing of the trees and the area and the rocks have started in Levera. And what government can do is to use the voice of the people who we should be showing up there next Saturday in Bathway, 10,000 plus people. Use that voice to say to the developers and the contractors, sorry, our people have said no. This is the people's consultation. We cannot continue with Levera, but here are some alternative plans that we want you to look at. Here are some alternative investments in tourism that we would like you to look at. And I'm talking about community tourism in particular. Now, to those who say that we need to sacrifice, yes, we need to sacrifice, like cutting our fingernails, not cutting our head. And for example, the housing schemes in St. David's, in Corinth, the housing schemes in Boucheju, in Mongay, these housing schemes are not impacting the environment in a destructive way to the extent that La Sagesse, Manhattan, and Levera is doing. These are away from major beach areas. They have enough land to filter the sewage and the runoff, and the environmental impact is much less. Destroying Levera is like cutting off our heads, and we cannot afford that. The pollution in Levera will run down to the whole island, both internally under the canals under the Grenada and along the coastline. The corals will die, the fish will disappear. Right, and the turtle will not come up on the shore anymore.
Do you think the developers have done an impact assessment of this?
We have a challenge with the environmental impact assessment, which was done only after there was legal challenges, and I think about 2 weeks before the groundbreaking ceremony was that EIA done. There was a fast consultation again in secret. One Saturday or Sunday it was up in St. Patrick's. A few people showed up. And really, it's a secretive. The open ceremony was secretive. The groundbreaking destruction ceremony was secretive. This is hidden. We have cases where our current Prime Minister was involved in defending Manhattan and La Sagesse, saying that the environmental impact assessment was not followed. Due diligence consultations were not followed in the case. He was defending. We have cases where ministers were defending the destruction of La Sagesse and Manhattan, and now they're the ones who, that's why I say I think they're trapped. I think they've joined the trap, the economic trap that they didn't expect, and they have no choice, or little choice, except to use the power of the people saying no. So Grenadians, we are the last left. We are the ones choosing whether or not Levera is destroyed, and I hope people show up, with their families next Saturday, and let's all say together no, peacefully and civilly, and give our government the power to turn away from the destruction of Levera.
Let's entertain another call. Caller, good morning, welcome.
Hello, good morning, brother. How are you?
Right, go right ahead, sir.
Right, sir. Thank you. Now, I listen to your program and I listen to certain things and I look at certain things. But when you look at it, we're going back into what you call the slave mentality. Remember, in Africa, I didn't have white people. It was black people. The same accept they come in and they accept because they put it back in position. And when they don't, they step up step by step and they take it over. The white people take it out to the watch how Africans suffering. That's the same thing that happened to us in Grenada, you know. That is the identical thing that is happening to us. Go back and look at our history well. Go back and look at our history well. The 4 point that Grenada is already sold to the Chinese, right? And we're in the middle, right? And what are they doing? What are they putting us? What is the system? The government. Pay attention to what's going on. Go back and look at all your African history where we say we African descendants. Go back and look at it and look at what's going on in Grenada. A black man sell out the country. Have a nice day, brother.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution there this morning. We can still entertain a couple more calls. If you call pretty quickly, we probably can entertain this one. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Go right ahead, caller.
Yeah. We don't want the people and them to buy our place because that is where my uncle and them used to pass in days when they say they come from where? In Levera to come to Rose Hill, and then everybody scatter about the place. And the thing about it is, when we give out of things to those people and them, look at how they build those houses in different places. What do you think what will happen later on? What do you think what will happen? They're looking to build the houses on the hillside. So when they're on top, you they below. They know how to do those things on them. The thing about it is, we have our place. The people are supposed to talk about it and do not destroy Levera Lake, neither the pond, neither the ground, neither the land or everything. Because these people and them, they come here they see all what we have, and we don't put in real use in it. So they decide now they're going to do development so that they could own it. Check back how many houses around the country they're building. That is why you see people don't want to go inside it to live. Because tomorrow now, when you cannot pay, what do you think going to happen? You have to pay them still. They're very, very tricky and crafty. You understand? And we don't have no right to take in our thing to sell. Because I remember my mother and she lifetime, when there was little children, that's where the people, and when they come with the boat, they drop them in Batway area there, and they pass all day and come up all Rose Hill. And that's why a lot of them scatter about the place to be, as you know, those slave people and them in those early years. She knows. She used to tell us because they had garden all down there. People are supposed to sell their assets to these people and them because you cannot get things from them. That's why they live in their place and come out in the Caribbean.
Caller, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. And I feel the passion from the callers in terms of what they would like to speak about, but sometimes we have to move on just a little bit.
Of course.
Let me just grab a couple of the statements that are made via the Facebook page before we entertain another caller. And this one individual is saying, that's Benedict is it. And I'm not sure how you might decipher his comment here. He's saying, I want the government, environmental and developer to seek a win-win result in the Levera development. I don't want the project to stop, but I don't think the environment should be ignored. That's a comment one individual is making.
Yeah, and it's nice to try to be middle of the road, but sorry, can you cut off your head and let's continue? Let's compromise. Let's cut off your head and then we'll compromise for you to continue to live. Okay, let's do that. That's what you're saying.
That's maybe impossible.
Right, so it's impossible to compromise on Levera. It's impossible to compromise on Levera. You need to know what Levera really is and represents, and you need to know the consequence. And like the caller said earlier on, we have given the power to them to enslave us. And that little city will become economically dominant in Grenada, more than SGU is, and control Grenada. And we would become the servants and the hewer of wood again if we allow this to happen. It's not only a geographical destruction, it's also a cultural destruction.
All right. Let's see if we can entertain a caller this morning before we take a wrap. Not much time left on the program. Good morning to you, caller. Welcome.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Doing pretty okay. Make your comment, please.
You know, I live in that area, right? I live in that area. I spend all my life in that area. I rear animals in that area, and I hold bird, crab, I fish in that area. So this man here on the program there and telling me about this area. I don't know who is paying him to really do that. Because people in St. Patrick's, Roseville, River Sally, Levera, they welcome this project. They welcome the jobs that come with this project. The farmers are looking to sell their produce to that hotel. Right? We are looking for this to come true so you can help our people in that area. You understand? If people come and protest up here and create problems for us up here. Are they going to Granada Beach and protest? We're going to close the hotel, it's on Granada Beach. No. They're coming up here and create problems for us. We want that project to come true. We want that project to come true too. Because our farmers our fisher folks. People up here they're working like people so happy together. They work down there. The guys are working there. They are so happy. You come in and protest, brother, and talking about cut off your head and all kind of stripping it. You're striking as a madman, you know.
Anyway, caller, thank you for your contribution this morning. Thank you for your contribution this morning.
It's good.
This is a different direction.
That's the first opposition. Thank God there's an opposition. I mean, well, unfortunately, right? As you said earlier on, trinkets and mirrors and beads can fool certain people, and not only that, but if you put an animal in a cage and you take away its food, whatever you give it to eat, it would like, and wherever you come to it, it will be at your mercy for food, because you have taken away its ability to find its own food. Our people, under the frustration of this modern economic slavery that's happening, are forced to just think about the daily bread, the money to buy food. If you don't have money, you can't live, you can't pay a bill, and all you need is money. You can't think that we created money. We didn't create Levera. Levera created us. And to destroy what created us for what we created is incorrect. What we need to do in St. Patrick's, the leadership parish, yes, you're supposed to organize our people to get our daily bread without destroying Levera. You in St. Patrick's supposed to be the leader, and it's not about division, because both governments and parties are on the same. All of us is on the same economic trap that the ego of man has developed for us. Now, we don't have much time to discuss the reasons for this and to talk about this, but I understand that people are feeling trapped, and that the only way they can get out is by destroying the very thing that gives them life, for a piece of paper, for a daily bread. Now, this, my brother, is what we need to change. We need, yes, and it's beyond madness. It's beyond madness to buy. There is 8.7 million species on this planet. One, buy and sell food. One is destroying the planet. The climate is changing. The raging fires, the snowstorms, unprecedented, that's happening on the planet now due to climate change, is because of your thinking.
Let's take a caller, because we have more time to wrap. Then we just come and summarize in terms of what we talked about a while ago. I guess we lost that caller, so I guess the caller loves the opportunity to, because it's already 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And I want to give you an opportunity to make that final plea, out there to the individuals, encourage them to come on out on Saturday, and maybe someone in authority may listen to what you have to say this morning and just make that final comment.
Thank you, GT. Thank you for having me, and to the point. And we're not against development. We're talking development. We are for development. We are against destruction. We are against destruction of the head of Grenada, the key of Grenada. We're against the destruction of the creation, the last creative spot of the Grenada dove. And people who think like the callers, please, how were you created? You were the last creature to appear on the planet. How did this happen? If you can answer these questions, if you can answer me, how are you beating your heart? How much breath have you taken for the morning? These questions which our minds doesn't answer, because it's not focused on who we truly are, because we focus on what we've created. This is what is causing this destruction of people, places, and planet. And in order to reverse that, we have to look at ourselves, who we truly are. But let me say, there is so much to talk about, and all I want to encourage you now, families, those who feel and understand what's going on, please come out to Levera next Saturday from 10 a.m. Come and peacefully sign a petition. Come and listen to scientific reasons of why it's important to save Levera. Listen to alternative plans of economic development, and let us do the right thing in this case, not only for ourselves in the Caribbean, but for the planet, Mother Earth, upon which we live. Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. A certainly interesting conversation you this morning. Hope we could do this again sometime. Again, you're welcome to come back and have further discussion. We probably could take the discussion on another level.
Thank you.
You understand? Thank you so much. I want to thank all who contributed some way or the other on today's program. Thank you so much. Join me again for another edition of To The Point. That will be tomorrow. Have yourself a lovely day. This is why I say goodbye for today.